Meeting called to order. Today is January 17th. It is now 6:02 PM. Town Council meeting is a sewer commission. 1170 Main Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island. Jay, will you lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in a meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of the community.
Amen.
Are you back to listen to pledge allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Council President Goslin.
Here.
Council Vice President Williamson.
Here.
Councilman Messier.
Here,
Councilman Licciardi. Councilman Bourget.
They're both going to be late.
Participating communities: Town of Coventry, Town of Situate, City of Cranston, City of Warwick, Town of West Greenwich. There is a quorum, Council President.
Somebody say
Just before we begin, Council President, Superintendent Chapdelaine will not be able to join us tonight. He got tied up at the plant, so he will not be with us. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the November 15th, 2022 Sewer Commission meeting.
Move approval of minutes.
second.
Move in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is Superintendent's report. That'll be given tonight by Assistant Superintendent Hoke.
Evening, Council. I will be reading Jeff's superintendent report for the month of December. The daily average flow was 7.0 million gallons per day. The max flow was 18.61 million gallons per day. And the minimum flow was 1.3 million gallons per day. Percent removals for the month of December, we had CBOD, we had a 98% removal. For total suspended solids, we had a 98% removal as well. Total phosphorus, the facility achieved 0.63 milligrams per liter removal of phosphorus. For sludge, we had a total of 578 tons go out. We had 286 tons go to Synagro and 310 tons go to the landfill. Collection systems, talk about in a second. We had sewer backups, 2 in the public lines, 1 at Riverdale Ave and 1 at Shortway Drive. Private lines, we had 4, 2 on Robert Street, 1 on Crossbow Lane, and 2 on Legris Ave. We only had 1 odor complaint for the month of December. It was a very vague odor complaint. It was near the Coventry West Warwick town line. No address was given, no name was provided. So we logged it, but we don't think it was from our facility. Next will be Water Street. If Jim, you would like to go into Water Street.
Yeah, just to get the council, the sewer commission up to date on Water Street. As you may or may not know, Water Street, day after Christmas, the road collapsed. Treatment plant was called out to a road collapse. Come to find out it was the 42-inch interceptor that had collapsed. The crown of the pipe had disintegrated and the road had collapsed, fallen into the sewer. We immediately, Jeff called us. I had my staff out there and we got CB Utility on board to do the emergency repairs. As we began this process, we found that the 42-inch, about 170 feet of the 42-inch had deteriorated. If you look at the crown of the pipe, the hydrogen sulfide had corroded all of the concrete. All the steel, the reinforcing steel was all exposed, causing that to collapse. Also, there's a 42-inch feeding the 24. The 24 feeding the 42, and that started to collapse. So we had to replace the sewer interceptors from Water Street at the intersection of Water and Providence Street down 300 feet down Water Street. Knowing the deterioration of the 42-inch, Jeff contracted with National Water Main to do a visual inspection of the line, TVing the line. what we found was that the deterioration of the pipe wasn't as great. The steel was not showing, but the aggregate on the concrete pipe was visible. So it shows that that pipe is starting to deteriorate. We don't have to take immediate action, fortunately, but we have to plan in the not too distant future to at least line that pipe with an epoxy lining, because the structural integrity is still there. We just want to coat the pipe so that hydrogen sulfide doesn't continue to deteriorate. Literally, there's the crown of the pipe for that 300 feet that we replaced was paper thin. The budget cost on that right now is running close to $400,000 to $500,000. It will be finished tomorrow. As far as the last connection will be made. And then over the course of the next week and a half, they'll be cleaning the area up, putting temporary pavement in. And then we have to establish the width of that roadway, because it meanders all over. You know, there's fences on, I'm not sure who owns what. So we're gonna sit back, clean the area out and figure out who owns what, and we'll do the appropriate reconstruction of the roadway.
It is a unique road in
Oh,
your
it is,
district.
yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, it goes all the way to the treatment plant. It comes out onto Providence Street and what they call an inverted siphon right near the CVS in that general area. It dips and comes back up, and then it goes to the treatment plant. So we TV'd that 3,000 feet. And as I said, we got a plan for it. I mean, because the bypass pumping alone, 70% of all the flow at the treatment plant goes through that interceptor.
Very
So
important.
very important. There's like 6 million gallons going through there. And we have 3 bypass pumps. And it gets very costly. It's about $17,000 to $20,000 a month just in the bypassing alone. So.
Any questions for Josh or Jim? Thank you.
Thanks.
Jim's up next.
Next item is the industrial pretreatment report.
Good evening. The industrial pretreatment report for the month of December. Rhodes Pharmaceutical reported their final closure of the facility at 500 Washington Street. Palmera will be using that as a research facility at the same address. Palmera also submitted a self-monitoring report for 498 Washington Street. They're 2 separate facilities. In this case, there was no process. They have discontinued the production at that facility. They're hoping to bring some product line in to start production this year. But at this point, we don't know what, if anything, they'll be doing. We did our annual inspections at Immunex and Amgen. Their facility is well run, is in very good condition. We found new management, but everything was running well. And they're looking at their production for next year in the different product lines that they'll be bringing into that facility. With regards to food services, new permits were issued to Harris Bar and Grill in Coventry, Truffles Fry in Coventry. Both with them were just a change in ownership. And Farm to Sandwich, we did our inspections. We found that they put a passive grease trap in. We told them that it requires an active grease trap, and they have redoing that. New construction began at Neon Market and Little Roadie Storage in West Warwick. And with regards to the lounge, they did submit plans. I mean, they submitted an application, but wasn't complete, and a letter was issued to them. So I have,
Say along with the one on Providence Street.
yes, it's 53 Providence Street.
Any questions for Jim? Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Next item is the financial report. Good evening again, everyone. Year-to-date operating and debt expenses for fiscal year 23 through the end of December totaled $5,253,462, which is 56% of the annual budget. This amount reflects our September bond payment, which is our large bond which is our large bond payment of $2,570,817 and $2,682,645 for operational expenses. That amount, that $2,682,645 is 40% of our approved operating budget, operating expense portions of the budget through halfway through the fiscal year. Overtime for the month of December was $13,564, which is 9% of the annual budget. Year-to-date overtime is $73,895, which is 51% of the annual budget. Our year-to-date savings in sewer department salaries line item is $26,988, which is helping to offset some of our overtime expenses. And when we compare overtime this year versus the same period as last year, we've spent $18,000 less on overtime this year so far. Due to Water Street, Council President, member of the council, that's going to increase when I report back to you next month. Year-to-date sludge removal costs through the end of December totaled $395,228, which is 59% of the annual budget. Year-to-date increased expense of $59,078 for having to offload at resource recovery versus what we would have spent if we could have gone to Synagro. Synagro remains an ongoing issues at Synagro. We continue to offload a lot of our waste at resource recovery right now. I don't know if Josh knows.
Council, basically, Synagro has reported to us that they have issues with their facility ongoing. So we're basically planning with them week to week. We call them at the beginning of the week, see how much they can take from us, and then we plan accordingly with the landfill. I think they're planning on shutting down for an extended period of time in the next couple of weeks to make more permanent repairs, hopefully. So that being the case, hopefully this will help us out quite a bit.
Do you know exactly what the issues are? Is it a lack of employment?
No, it's something with their incinerator. It's something called an expansion joint, which I'm not particularly familiar with, but their expansion joints keep wearing out and they have to order them weekly to do repairs on them. So they're kind of week to week as well until they hopefully, when they shut down for an extended period of time, hopefully they'll be able to iron that out.
Any questions for Josh on that?
Thank you, Josh. Fiscal year 2023 sewer usage and industrial collections through the end of December totaled $4,784,019, which is 53% of the total billed. Fiscal year 23 sewer assessment collections through the end of December totaled $225,252, which is 91% of the total bill. This month, Council President, I also include some of the other miscellaneous revenue line items, seeing we're halfway through the year. Those revenue sources such as permit fees, commercial application fees, discharge violations, et cetera. Through the end of December, we collected $116,812. Our intermunicipal bond payment billing, which is what we bill the communities directly for their portion of their debt service. Our bond payments of their debt service is $714,466. We also billed out last month, the annual private pump station inspection fee invoices to 22 private pump stations. So far, 12 invoices have been paid, totaling $13,000. We add all that up, our year-to-date revenue collections of $5,628,297 versus $5,253,462 in expenses. So we closed halfway through the year with revenue exceeding expenses. And cash and investments through the end of December totaled $3,273,625. That's my report, Council President.
Any questions for Tony?
No questions, but yes, it's nice to know through the end of December, revenue was ahead of expenses, but Water Street is a huge expense that's not budgeted for, upwards of $500,000. The sludge removal with issues with Synagro has added a great deal. So just giving you a heads up, it sounds like we're in good shape at the end of the year, but we know we have expenses that we've expended already this month, so.
You have a comment? Hearing none. Thank you, Tony.
Next item is public comment.
Any public comment on the sewer? Hearing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.